This is TWiT.
For probably about a decade was relying on Twitter as my main source of news, and that has gone away, and now it is a combination of Mastodon, and I've gone back to using RSS readers, and
God bless them, they're still around.
They're still around, and as I've sort of gotten back into the habit of using RSS readers, which I used prior to sort of relying on Twitter, I've sort of realized like how much I missed it and how much better the experience is.
What RSS feeder do you use?
So now, because I've gone back, I'm sort of like re-experimenting with ones. But the one I'm using right now is just mainly is Fresh RSS, which is a very, very simple, lightweight RSS reader. And I found it to be really, really valuable. There are a couple other ones that people have recommended that this week I'm going to start playing around with to see. But I found Fresh RSS as just, if you just want something very lightweight and straightforward, I've been really happy with it.
Those of us who do the news need something that we can do a beat check, for want of a better word, where we can daily go through and see what all the stories are. And that's how I prepare for all the shows. I select stories and all that. And it's interesting because there was an RSS winter after Google Reader went away, where people just said, "Oh, it's over. RSS is dead." But it's not, because there's all these little things like Fresh RSS that are Fresh RSS has been around a while, but they're growing in the abandoned lot that is the RSS universe. All of these weeds are growing. I use something called Sumi News, which is not self-hosted. It's a page where you can follow stuff, and this really scratches my itch. But I also have NetNewsWire and Reader and all of these others. I have to try Fresh RSS. You host it yourself?
No, there are a few hosted versions.
Okay.
So basically, in order to test it out, and I've been using it for now, I think about 3 weeks, I found one of the hosted versions, and I've just been using that. I think it's hosted in France.
Oh, interesting.
So
there's one I see a lot of people, a lot of geeks using called Tiny RSS, which is it's a Docker container. It's similar. It's you host it yourself.
Yep.
And actually, I want to create RSSs, so I've been looking at Feedly, which costs money.
Feedly's great, though. Yeah.
But it's kind of industrial version of, I'm going to look at what I want to do is be able to look at a bunch of feeds coming in and then select the articles that I think are interesting and then generate a new feed from that. Yeah. So that if people want to follow that. And I've been kind of experimenting
one of
with
the things
how to do that.
that you would like about Mastodon is any account can be an RSS feed. So if you say, I'm going to follow Mike Masnick, let me look him up real quickly. Oh, what's your handle?
It's just M Masnick.
M. There you go. So I'm going to look up Mike. I see him there, and now I can add RSS to the end of his feed, and I will have an RSS feed of which is a pretty good idea. I should do an RSS feed of Mike. Mike, though, you gotta put the rel.me in your linkings there.
I know.
We gotta know it's you, man.
I know there are a whole bunch of things that I need to do that I haven't quite gotten to, because we're sort of debating. We'll probably set up our own.
You're gonna do your own,
Mastodon instance, but like I've been sort of waiting, because there are sort of these like various forks of Mastodon that are looking pretty interesting that I know people are working on.
Yes.
And it's like, do I want to set this up until some of these projects are released? And so I've been holding off, and that includes like, the verification.
What does it take to put together a Mastodon server?
Shouldn't say First of all, let's not say Mastodon. Let's say Fediverse. Right. And let's say ActivityPub, because really all you have to do is hook into ActivityPub and you can be part of this Fediverse. So there are lots of clients. PixelFed is an Instagram that is based on ActivityPub. Mastodon is just one instance of some, again, writing some software that happens to hook into the Fediverse, but it's not the only way by any means. Pleroma is another one. What are you looking at?
There's one called Calckey, Calckey. And they have been upgrading it over the last couple months, and they had just released an upgraded version a couple weeks ago, and they're working on what is effectively sort of a pro level version of it as well, with a bunch of other features. And I'm sort of holding out for something along those lines.
It's a fork of Miski.
Yes, so Miski is another ActivityPub compatible server, which has some nice features and a very sort of clean UI, and it's adding in a bunch of other, I think, really useful features that Mastodon is missing. But I'm sort of holding out.
Now I need to look at this. Yeah. I will look at this. We run Mastodon only because 3 years ago in 2019, I had always had something to do with StatusNet, Identica, GNU Social. This is all kind of all the same thing. And we used to have the TWiT Army, Identica and stuff. So I was interested in Mastodon, set up a Mastodon server at TWiT Social using somebody called Masto.host, which is hosted Mastodon. Very, very good. I think it was €5 a month. It was so little that I forgot I was even paying for it. I thought, this is free. And then I realized, oh no, I've been paying for this all the time. It was through PayPal or something. And then all of a sudden, something happened around October of last year. We went from like 12 users to, I think, 7,000 active users. And it suddenly cost me $350 a month, but it's well worth it. And I'm going to look at some of these other ones. This is really interesting. The problem is I'm lazy, and so I like a hosted solution, which Masto.host scratches that itch. But this looks really cool.
Yeah, there are some really nice things that they're working on too, where they've sort of recognized some of the limitations of Mastodon as it is today. And my guess is that some of the hosting companies, I don't know about Masto.host in particular, but some of there are a few different companies that will host Mastodon instances are going to start offering other Kalki and some of the other ones as well. Then.
You go. You gotta do Kalki, man, or Miski or something. Of course, that's the beauty of this is you can subscribe to an account on any of these, and they can go into your Mastodon or whatever it is that you use. It's pretty interesting. In fact, it's so interesting now. Venture capital companies are starting to invest in Mastodon stuff. There's a lot of attention been paid to a new Mac app called. I forgot. Mammoth, I think it's called. That's venture funded. And that's always when I get nervous, is when I start seeing the money coming in. Because you think, well, but the good news about the Fediverse is no one can own it. So go ahead. Let them invest. That's fine. Let them invest. Although, to his credit, Eugene Rochko, who's created Mastodon, has turned down a lot of investment. He says, no, we don't need that. We'll just have our Patreon and keep going.
Leo, can I
go ahead.
Can I blow your mind and tell you what I was using as an RSS reader 2 decades ago?
Yes, let's talk about it. Yes.
LiveJournal. LiveJournal let you add RSS feeds, and you could just read the whatever article you wanted alongside your friends' posts, and it was such a great feature.
And that, in a way, that was also kind of more like microblogging because you could write short little posts. It was more like a traditional blog sometimes, right? Or link roll kind of a thing, right? So you could write you could write a Twitter style post on that.
And I mean, LiveJournal actually, the technology behind LiveJournal helped inspire Facebook. I mean, it was a very foundational company actually. Unfortunately, sold off to a Russian company. Called Soup, and I forget. I think it's been passed around now, but a shadow of its former self. But a lot of great ideas there that I think actually anticipated the Fediverse, because you could take LiveJournal. It was open source code. You could basically clone LiveJournal, set up another site. They had no problem with that.
Right. Well, remember browsers used to do RSS feeds. You could open an RSS feed in a browser and read it. So times have changed.
Hey, we should talk Linux. It's the operating system that runs the internet, but your game consoles, cell phones, and maybe even the machine on your desk. But you already knew all that. What you may not know is that TWiT now has a show dedicated to it, the Untitled Linux Show. Whether you're a Linux pro, a burgeoning sysadmin, or just curious what the big deal is, you should join us on the Club TWiT Discord every Saturday afternoon for news, analysis, and tips to sharpen your Linux skills. And then make sure you subscribe to the Club TWiT exclusive Untitled Linux Show. Wait, you're not a Club TWiT member yet? Well, go to twit.tv/clubtwit and sign up. Hope to see you there.